We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our July doPLANNER team call. I'm going to, as usual, just make sure we are set up here in the Facebook group before we officially start chatting and giving you all the goods for today. When you pop on, please share where you're coming in from. If you're catching the replay, just give us a hashtag replay and where you're watching from as well. I'll give it a few seconds for everyone to pop on. I know I was getting a bunch of messages like, where am I in the right group? I can't find it. So we'll give everyone a second to pop on. But I'm really excited for today. We have a special guest as well. So that's going to be awesome for you guys to really dig in. It's the summertime, right? So even being here and taking some time during the summer to step into our businesses and to really get comfortable with gearing up for, for a new season, for convention, for all of these things. So it's going to be an amazing call today. So we've got some coming in from Oregon, from New York. Awesome. You hear us and see us. Thank you, Team Marie, for letting us know. Perfect. Well, I want to dive in and just get started here because we've got lots of good stuff to share with you guys today. So on today's call, on this month's team call, I have a very special guest with us today. So I actually have someone from corporate joining us, which is always really exciting to get near and dear to our corporate headquarters. And this is one of my absolute favorite people at corporate. And my goodness, if you're Canadian and you get yourself to that rank of diamond, it'll all be worth it just to be able to work with Brittany. So this is Brittany Frey, everyone. She is the Diamond Account Manager at corporate head office for Canadian Diamonds. And she's been with the company for a few years, and I'll let her share a little bit about her story and why she chose doTERRA from the corporate side before we kind of dive into some of the goods about why, as a wellness advocate, we are choosing to start our businesses or continue or scaling our businesses with doTERRA at this time. Why doTERRA? Why now? So Brittany is absolutely incredible. She's been in a few different departments, or a few different roles, I should say. So I'm going to give her a quick second just to introduce herself, and then we'll dive into some of our content today. So Brittany.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. I am super excited to be here with all of you. I've been with doTERRA for almost 5 years, and I have absolutely loved it. When I first started, I worked out in the call center and member services, and I honestly didn't know how long I would be here. But the culture that you share amongst your teams is the same culture that's implemented and just embedded in doTERRA. So I love being here. I'm currently in account management, which I absolutely love. So I strategize with our diamond leaders currently in Canada and really just help them focus on their business. But I love being able to be here and to help share the love and just let you know that you've got somebody on the corporate side that's aware of you and is aware of your hard work. And I really want to be here to sympathize with you and celebrate with you. So I'm super happy to be here today.
Awesome. Well, she's so incredible. And we're going to share some good stuff with you guys today. And what I really wanted to bring to today's team call, because I know sometimes we do some mindset training, sometimes we do product training, sometimes we do business training. And today what I felt, when I was sort of deciding on today's team call, I really wanted to get into the hearts of why doTERRA. I think it's really important, especially in this season, especially with everything that we've gone through lately, everything that we've gone through as a world. Like, I know we've got someone from South Africa on here. We have people coming in from the UK, from all over the place. And, we've all gone through a global crisis, right? And I'm not just talking about from a virus standpoint. I'm talking from a just humanity standpoint, right? We've all sort of reevaluated what's important to us. We've pruned some things from our lives that we've wanted to let go of. We've realized where our passion is actually, what our passion is ignited from, and what matters, what truly matters. We've realized that, I found more people than not have realized that letting go of materialistic things and starting to embrace freedom, starting to embrace, the moments that matter, experiences that matter, and what really truly building their business, the purpose of that, and what was most important about building a business with doTERRA. And so what we're going to be sharing today is you guys are pretty lucky because we're actually going to be sharing some slides that were shared at a Diamond summit that recently happened, that our president of North American Global, now I need to make sure that I get his new title right, but for those of you that don't know, Kirk Jowers, he's worked with doTERRA for quite some time. He actually just got appointed as the president of North American and Global Corporate Relations. And he actually presented at the most recent Diamond Summit. And I begged Brittany, I was like, you got to work your magic. You got to get the slides from his presentation. And I wanted to be able to share some of those slides with you guys today. So yes, we're not going to go through his entire presentation, as some of it was more material meant for as your business, starts to grow and develop. But some of these slides that he presented, I feel like just sharing these with you today is going to help to dig your feet into why you're here, why you're building this business, why you're doing what you're doing, why you're getting out there and sharing the oils and intentionally growing more impact, growing more income through the use of the doTERRA vehicle, and some exciting things to even realize that are on the horizons when it comes to the company as a whole, and just where we're going with this market. So Brittany's going to share a few things. We're going to kind of also roll with it together. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of these slides just to share with you guys and sort of take you through a few of the cool things that we know are going to be kind of coming down the pipeline here. Oh man, that's a lot of screens that are popping up. Okay, let me make sure that looks normal on our end. So you guys are seeing a whole lot of things. So hold on a second. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. I'm going to reshare it using just this window. Okay, that should look a heck of a lot better. There we go. All right, so I want to share with you guys, let me see, actually, there must be a way to present this that it looks a little bit better. Entire full screen. There we go. All right. So there was a survey that was done across 40 states, and we wanted to sort of bring a little bit of this to the surface, to some of the different age demographics that were surveyed, and sort of talk a little bit about this blue ocean opportunity that doTERRA is sort of falling into. And you may never have heard of the analogy blue ocean opportunity, but there's this red ocean versus blue ocean analogy. And the blue ocean opportunity is basically meaning this untapped market. We really are not competing with anyone. It's this untapped market where most of the growth is just in the roots at this point. And it hasn't even sprouted through the surface. And when we think about this blue ocean opportunity versus the red ocean opportunity, the red ocean is where you're in a, say we were a makeup company, right? A makeup company would be the red ocean opportunity. It's highly competitive in the market. You are, there's tons of other companies that are existing there. You really would have to come up with something crazy innovative to be different at all. And when we look at doTERRA, we're really talking about this blue ocean where it is this untapped, a market that has barely even been opened yet. And we're looking at, from the different, the age group, this is really this blue ocean opportunity is the untapped market within the millennial and Gen Z generations, right? In terms of the ages, right? So we see that 39% of Gen Zs are using essential oils, 41% of our young millennials using essential oils, and 38% of our older millennials currently using essential oils. And to take it back to this survey, right? This was a survey across 40 states, and we're fairly 50-50, right? Very close to 50-50, male and female, who were surveyed here. And you can see the different age gaps of what Gen Z stands for, young millennial stands for, and older millennial stand for. Oh my God, I'm considered an old millennial. So yeah, just that word, old millennial. So we can see sort of where these age gaps came from. So understanding that this opportunity is, so untapped. Imagine we take the same opportunity and said, how many of you are using makeup, right? Like how many of our age gap in that younger generation is using makeup, our older generation is using makeup, or, you probably have like a 98%, right? Look at these percentage. This is this blue ocean opportunity. This is this untapped market, this untapped opportunity that we have to be able to even get in with the younger groups and share this opportunity, share our product, share the business and the income opportunities that even come with partnering and joining hands with doTERRA. So these were some of the questions that were asked from these individuals that were surveyed across these 40 states in the United States. Are you currently using doTERRA products? Only 10% of the people who were using essential oils were using doTERRA, right? How many have used doTERRA in the past? How many have heard of it but still have never used it? And how many have never even heard of doTERRA? 41% have never even heard of doTERRA. Like they just were like, I'm sorry, doTERRA, what? What's doTERRA? Like, that's crazy. There's so many people that sometimes we often think to ourselves like, what's the point? It's so saturated. It's such a saturated market. There's no opportunities for me here, right? Like everyone's already talked to them. Everyone's already presented to, they already have a friend who does doTERRA. Let's think about that again. Look at the actual stats. This was an actual survey created and executed that shows you that that's simply what the stories we often tell ourselves about, maybe why not doTERRA, why not now, are actually controversially, they are just stories. And that's not the actual reality of what's happening out there. So Brittany's actually going to take us through some of the findings from the survey.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to add one quick thing because I talked to our general manager this morning, and he let me know that we did a report a few years ago, and we pulled some of those like saturation numbers. In Utah, where doTERRA kind of started, where our home base is, where you think it would be the most saturated, we're currently at 4% saturation. 4%. And that may have fluctuated a little bit in the last couple of years. But with COVID, we know that was kind of a little bit of a bump. But that's still only 4% that have ever placed an order. And they may not still be placing orders. They may not be consistent. So just keep that in mind. That saturation level that you may think is really high is actually really, really low. And kind of diving into these findings a little bit, I think you'll start to see more of why it's still untapped and why there's so much potential and why this is a great time to do doTERRA and continue to push. So finding number 1 states that millennials and Gen Z are more interested than ever in holistic wellness, connecting with nature, and natural products. According to the same study, the same survey, respondents more or much more interested in holistic wellness since the onset of COVID has only increased. So if you look at these, we're looking anywhere from 56 to 58% from Gen Z to older millennials, which is great. There's more than half of these people now that are getting more interested, and we think that those numbers will only continue to increase. Respondents who said that connecting with nature is important to them. So Gen Z said 43%, young millennials 46%, and older millennials 55%. So it's still a good majority of these people that were surveyed, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, are really interested in connecting with nature, and that's exactly what these oils are offering. Another statistic, respondents who said that they're willing to spend more on natural products. We've got anywhere from 38 to 45%. This is great, and this is something that's really important to focus on, especially when we talk about purity of essential oils as well, is because they're pure and they're not adulterated, they don't have any other artificial add-ins, they might be a little bit higher when it comes to price point, but people are willing to spend more on that because it's pure. And that's exactly what our company is offering, which is incredible. Okay, second finding. This one's really fun. 18 to 40-year-old men represent an untapped market. doTERRA has primarily focused on women anywhere between the ages of like 30 to 45. That's really been a big focus. And I know it's been brought up at leadership retreats or convention or other events that doTERRA has. But this new finding says that we should be tapping into men because there really is a huge untapped market there that has a lot of potential. 56% of men are more or much more interested in holistic wellness since the beginning of the pandemic. So 56%, that's more than 50%. That's a really big percentage of people that now have an interest. And that's a great place for you to come in and kind of help guide them or lead them into the essential oil industry and how these holistic options can really help them and help their families. In addition to that, 53% of men say that connecting with nature is more or much more important to them since the onset of COVID. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I've seen a lot more posts or a lot more on social media about people stepping into nature and connecting with it because maybe they've been laid off from their jobs or because they've had some really hard times, and connecting with nature has really been able to help ground them. So now they can still go out and continue to have those outdoor activities, but they can also bring nature into their homes with the power of essential oils. Okay, millennial and Gen Z men are a warmer market than expected. So in this graph that you're seeing, it's comparing women and men and how often they've used essential oils. So again, typically we were catering to women. We were thinking women was kind of like our core market and what we wanted to focus on. But if we look at these statistics, we can see that 15% of men in the past 3 months have used essential oils, which is a really good percentage when we're looking at a market that's still super untapped. And then a few of them, we're kind of seeing still an increase there. And then it says never, and I think it's 23% have not used essential oils. So if 56% of men are interested and they want these natural options, but about half of them have never even used essential oils, that's a really, really good opportunity for us to come in and say, hey, you're interested, but you've never tried it. Let me get these oils in your hands. Okay, millennial and Gen Z men are just as likely to use doTERRA as women. So I think we need to start shifting our mindset about this a little bit. It's been so women focused, and we still want some of the focus to be there because there are still a lot of women who want to use this. That's maybe why a lot of you have started, and you can share that with your girlfriends and your families or your babysitter or your coworkers. But we can also start to group men into this as well and think about their networks and who they're in contact with and who their connections are, because then you're still going to be able to reach a wide range of people by utilizing millennial and Gen Z men. Okay, millennial and Gen Z men are even more willing to recommend doTERRA to colleagues and friends than millennial and Gen Z women. So I just want you to think about that and let it sink in for a minute. I know that the difference on the screen is about 3%, but this was just given off of this one study. So we still have a lot of opportunity out there for this percentage to even be higher. And like I said, again, a lot of times they have different social circles, different networking groups that they can then tap into. And that's really going to help you feel like you've expanded your market if you feel like your own warm market has started to lose a little bit of interest. Okay, the last finding is the third finding. Millennials and Gen Z care about the social and environmental impact of the products they purchase. And this is huge. We're starting to see a really big shift with these age demographics that really care about the environment. So how much does a company's proactive social impact influence your purchasing? This was one of the questions asked in the study. 35% said somewhat and 26% said very much. So even just looking at those two statistics alone compared to not really or not at all, which is about 7%, there's a really big increase there in those that do care about the impact that doTERRA is having, or really that any company, right, is having on the environment. So where doTERRA is trying to be more eco-friendly in our packaging, where we're trying to be sustainable in the products that we're purchasing, we're not just chopping down fields and crops and harvests. We've got really good plans in place to continue to grow these products that we then use for essential oils. And that's really, really important to these younger generations. Okay, this is something that's really cool as well. This was sourced by Verify Markets, and they're a really big industry that kind of looks into all these different categories when it comes to consumer products or other products, and they really kind of look at some projections. So doTERRA, and this is projections up until 2026. So we're at about $7.8 billion, but it's projected that we will see those sales increase to $18.7 billion by the year 2026. There will be some fluctuation in those years, but we're only projected to grow And that's because we have all this untapped potential in all of these untapped demographics and areas that we're really hoping that you as a leader and as a builder can tap into and connect with.
And I just want to add with this slide, guys. So first off, you can probably see this blue ocean behind the graph. And the purpose of that is showing that we are still riding this blue ocean wave for the next 4 so years. For the next 4 so years, we're still considered, you know, in this blue ocean opportunity where this is just such an untapped market. There are so many, you know, niches within our opportunities that we haven't even begun to root into and to dig our heels into and to even know that we exist, right? I mean, how incredible is that we are continuing over these next 4 years in projection to still be in the blue ocean opportunity. We need to take advantage of that. I mean, I think when I started 6 years ago, no one even heard of essential oils, let alone doTERRA. Essential oils 6 years ago, people were like, I'm sorry. I remember when I was presented essential oils, I was like, I'm sorry, what is an essential oil? Like a cooking oil, like an oil that goes in your car? Like, I mean, what are you talking about? I had zero idea what essential oils were 6 years ago when I was first given my first little tiny vial as a sample. So think about where we've come in 6 years. Now, when we look at this projection, we're still saying that over the next 4 years, you know, this is where we're taking our opportunity to get into the hearts and the minds and the homes of those 50% of people who are still like, who's doTERRA? What's doTERRA? What? Right? So this is still it's like we're still paving the way. We are still pioneering. doTERRA is still pioneering. You just may not realize it because you are obsessed with the oils and maybe your close circle has become doTERRA people. So you're surrounded by it. So you assume everyone else knows about it too, but it's simply not the case. There's just still so much more to leverage within this space. And it's everyone here who's listening, who's tuning in as a wellness advocate, as an educator. We are the ones that are taking it from those 2021 projections at that 7.8, billion dollar marker. It's our responsibility. It's our social duty. And it's also falling on our hands that we are the ones that are bringing that graph all the way up to that 18.7 billion. We're the ones doing it, guys. It's not even corporate. They're there to support us, but we're the ones in the field, on the ground, making these impacts on a global level, sharing the oils, teaching, educating, getting oils into people's hands. That is allowing this projection to even be a reality. And so from someone who's been here for 6 years and has seen the graph go like up, and then getting to see it at 2021 only being here and still going up, it just means that, that there's still such a diverse growth plan in place that we get to be part of. So if you're brand spanking new, even better, right? Like you're getting to see it start from where it is and continue to go. So you didn't miss the mark, you didn't miss the boat. Sometimes the tides have to come out for it to come back in, right? And so we need to allow that ebb and flow to happen. But the best part is just being able to see how much opportunity is still there.
I love that. Yeah, this is exactly what Jen was talking about, a 13.4% compound annual growth rate. So if you think about it, this company started in 2008. We've only been around for 13 years. If you look at any large corporation, any large company, 13 years is still really, really young. We're still in the beginnings. So we've just got so much more that can happen, so much more growth that we can see as we continue into these next 5 or even 10 years. Okay, again, 3 times the growth. And you play a huge part in that. So I want you to recognize that. That comes from your efforts, from what you're doing, from who you're tapping into and who they're reaching out to. So we want you to get excited about this, because the more excited that you are, that energy will just flow into your team and they'll catch that excitement. As some of you may have kind of experienced a little bit of a lull in your business over the last year. You may have said, why am I trying? Like, what am I doing here? I feel like I'm not reaching anybody. I think it's, something that you might have to think about, but don't let that be discouraging. I want you to see these numbers and see that growth potential and say, wow, I'm a part of something incredible and I get to help this growth happen. That's really where I want your mindset to be. So start thinking about that. And we just wanted to share a few quotes from Verified Markets, which are really, really strong and really impactful. So if you want to, feel free to take a picture of this, because this will be something great that you can even pass on later. doTERRA has been the singular reason for the rapid market expansion. Just let that sink in. The singular reason for essential oil growth. doTERRA values connections between people and implements activities where its advocates and the community interact. Again, going right back to our culture, right back to the heart of us. If you think about our Healing Hands and our co-impact sourcing initiatives, we've got all of these great things that help connect people, both behind the bottle and both involved with sharing the oils. The global aromatherapy and essential oils market is undergoing a dramatic change and evolving rapidly. doTERRA is well positioned for the increasing demands, requirements, demographics, and trends shaping the market. And I think it's so great that they recognize us as kind of the leading company in this industry, because we do get to have a big say in these impacts and these changes and the trends that happen in the essential oil industry.
And Brittany, for a second, can you just maybe make mention Verified Market Leadership Award or Verified Markets, what that is? So someone will be, well, what is Verified Markets?
Yes, exactly. So Verified Markets, they are the leaders in market research and consulting. So they're a research firm and they specialize in kind of like a wide variety of companies, primarily industrial, environmental, and consumer products. So that's why they've been able to kind of help step in and do a lot of research for us in comparison to a lot of the other essential oil companies that are currently in the market today.
Awesome. So just so everyone's aware, like this is a kind of a third party they verify the market leaders in the world, right? They verify it. This company is verifying all, sales numbers, sales growth across the spectrum, across all companies. So doTERRA has won awards, and they have been recognized from the Verified Market as the leader industry for global aromatherapy and essential oils. So we have been verified as the leader in that spectrum, in that industry, worldwide. So that's some pretty big deals there.
Yes, I think it's really exciting, and I love that it's a global thing. It's worldwide. It's not just in North America. It's global, which will be great for anybody who's building teams or anyone that's curious about potential growth outside of the US and Canada. You're still seeing that. This is still a global company. We're still seeing a lot of that growth. And this just verifies it. Verified Markets predicts after this pandemic, the stronger players will be even more dominant and the weaker, smaller players will lose market share. So because doTERRA is one of those stronger players, we will continue to be more dominant in this essential oil industry, in this essential oil market. So keep that in mind. Reinstill belief back in the company. I think that's something that you can each take on a different level, but belief in the company is huge because there's going to be so much growth and we are that big key player in this industry. Larger companies can innovate and diversify. They have more I'm going to butcher this word, liquidity than smaller market participants and are spread out geographically, especially in emerging markets. Market leader doTERRA has more control over its supply, enabling it to emerge stronger after the pandemic. I hope that you recognize that even during the pandemic, doTERRA still continued to see growth. It wasn't as much as maybe we were anticipating, but we also didn't anticipate a pandemic. But the company still continued to grow and see growth during that time, which is really promising and hopefully brings a lot of hope to you that there is still a lot of success that can be had, a lot of growth that can be had, especially in emerging markets. We talk about global access countries. We're really just adding on to how much more we can reach out, how far out we can reach out, and we're still continuing to look into open up all these other markets throughout the world.
Yeah. And I think this is so huge, right? It's just that simple statement of the stronger players will be even more dominant because they can innovate and diversify, and they have more they have more funds to be able to do the things and to have made it through a pandemic and all of that. And the smaller players are going to lose a little bit of that market share. So, I mean, and it kind of like hurts my heart to say that because I don't want to, bless anyone who has lost a business during this time. And we don't want to sort of play that, inferior, superior role here. But what we do want to say here is that you are with a legacy company. Partnering with doTERRA is more important now than ever, because we've seen how not having deep roots, not having that ability to stand and partner with a company that is like that great oak tree that during the toughest storm is not blown over by the wind, right? Where this is the type of company you want to partner with. So it is recession proof, it is pandemic proof, it is, and the growth opportunity is still so strong and still there. So being able to partner now and begin to sort of plant your roots alongside doTERRA allows you to grow along with the growth, right? And knowing that we have these big projections and that there's so many emerging markets still, there's just so much opportunity. So just wanted to sort of touch on that.
No, I love that. That's perfect. This little graph here just shows aromatherapy and essential oil markets, and 50% of this is direct sales. It's exactly what you're doing. So about half is work that's being done by you, that's being shared by you, and that's only going to continue to grow. And Verified Markets has stated multiple times that it really is these direct selling companies like doTERRA that really help educate people about the essential oils. So that's huge. You're playing a really, really big role in this education and getting people involved, and in these statistics that we're seeing about how many people are aware of doTERRA and the essential oil industry.
Mm-hmm. So next time you're like, oh my gosh, but I'm losing so many sales to people buying on Amazon, or I'm losing so many sales to people just going in and buying them at the natural food store, at the, Walmart, or buying them at the retail store in the mall. Well, not really, because 50% of all sales done for essential oils are actually through direct sales, right? Through direct sales, which is our business model. So we're not really losing people to online sales as much as we maybe think we are. It just kind of stings a little when it happens. So sometimes we catastrophize it and think everyone's doing that. But really the truth of the matter is most of it is being done right here in our own business model, which again is another strong reason why doTERRA, and especially why now.
I love these next couple of quotes that we're going to share with you. I think they're super powerful. So after the pandemic, the stronger players will be even more dominant and the weaker players will lose market share. Again, doTERRA is a dominant, strong player, and we're not saying goodbye anytime soon. We're not planning on losing revenue or losing growth anytime soon. We still have a long ways to travel because we are still in that blue ocean period. We do still have so much of that incredible potential. Essential oil consumers reported that the pandemic has caused a shift in perceptions towards synthetic oils, with 41% of consumers more likely to seek 100% pure essential oils. And that's why doTERRA is so important, because we do have that whole testing battery that all of our oils go through, and we will turn away a batch if it doesn't meet standards. And some companies won't do that. They say, okay, well, we just want to make a quick buck, or we just need to get this out to the consumer. So let's go ahead and let's just pass it and let's bottle it. But doTERRA has really, really high standards. And so I know it's frustrating sometimes when things are out of stock, or when you want to be able to give a sample to somebody and we don't have the oil in inventory, but just know it's because we really care about the purity and the quality of that oil. And so that's why we won't put anything out for sale that's less than what our standards are. Mm-hmm. Almost half of consumers who have heard of doTERRA indicated it is their favorite brand, the highest of any brand. So just think about that. There's a lot of essential oil markets and industries out there, but doTERRA is the favorite and it's the highest. So just keep that in mind when you reach those complaints. People that say, oh, I purchased off of Amazon, or I was with another essential oil company. Show them the science, get them looped into some of these amazing testing sites that we have. There's APRC that does a lot of behind the scenes third-party research for us as well. That can help verify and just add to the information that we've shared with you today about the purity and the quality of these oils.
And that's almost half of consumers who have heard of doTERRA, not who use doTERRA, right? So it's like almost half the people who are like, yeah, I've heard of doTERRA. Like almost half of those people who just even know about it, that doTERRA is their favorite brand. So, and maybe they know about it, but have never tried it. And that's where the other 50% are coming from that maybe didn't say doTERRA is their favorite brand, because maybe they haven't tried it yet. Maybe you have yet to give them a sample. And that's the work that has to be done here.
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of exciting. This just really shows you a few of the statistics and the percentages that we're looking at when we talk about the global essential oil market. Obviously, North America, which they kind of include the US and Canada into this, makes up, a really high percent of this, both in sales and in, I guess you could call it saturation, or just even those who are aware of the oil industry. But we are seeing a lot more growth in Europe and Asian countries. So just keep that in mind too, that there is a lot of projected growth to be had in those areas, in addition to what's currently happening in North America. Okay, the prominence of the health and wellness trend as a market driver is forecasted to remain high over the next 5 to 7 years. And that should just give you some reassurance and give you some hope that it is going to remain high. It's going to stay on a constant trajectory of growth. And so that should be really, really positive and something for you to hold on to if you're feeling like this is kind of hard, like I don't know if I want to keep going. Just know that there is a lot of continued growth. And that means greater commissions for you. That means getting more people educated and involved. That means finding a new business partner. So there's still a lot of growth that can be had even in the next 5 to 7 years.
Absolutely. And we're talking that health and wellness is seeing the trend as the market driver. So over the next 5 to 7 years, the market driver is health and wellness, right? So at one point, I'm sure maybe it was technology. At one point, the market driver was possibly the beauty industry. And this is forecasted that this next like half a decade here is going to be all focused around health and wellness, which is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So we know that those monies are being spent in health and wellness. So why not leverage your business around that same space?
Yeah, exactly. Customers are increasingly placing more value on health and wellness. So again, exactly what Jen just said, than on material objects. So that's a huge shift. I think, maybe this was before the pandemic, but people said, oh, like I need all of these things. Like I want to have all these cool things. But now we're really starting to see a change in that trend towards health and wellness. They are shifting away from purchasing luxury goods in favor of spending on wellness as a luxury, which is huge. If you have a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mind, a healthy body, then you're able to do so much more. And again, connect with nature, right? Kind of going back to some of those earlier statistics, those two just go in tandem. They go hand in hand.
I just love this last quote here. This is like one of my favorite, but culture eats strategy for breakfast. So good. And I think it's so important that we remember with doTERRA what that even means. Like as a company, what we have here in doTERRA, like what we have at our fingertips. And I love that last quote as well that Brittany shared, which is people are shifting away from that materialism and luxury into health and wellness as a luxury. So it's not as though we need to really think about it as, okay, people are going to be spending more money to have to buy doTERRA. Well, why don't we just shift that focus to what maybe were they spending in luxury goods? Maybe were they spending in some of those luxury things that now they're going to shift gears and say, I don't really want that anymore. That's actually not that important to me anymore. Maybe their vice used to be, their, I don't know, getting their lashes done and their nails done and all those things. Maybe I still do that, but maybe those things for someone that has to find a way to make it work, like find a way to make ends meet to get their essential oils. Maybe they are choosing to shift off of something that maybe was just a luxury before. It doesn't really mean anything to them anymore. Think about it. We all just went through, a year and a half where there were times when our salons and all of that was closed and we had to go without. And maybe we realized in those times that it wasn't as important as we thought it once was, right? And that people are wanting to move to sort of a different energy. So I just want to come back to some of these comments because I at least didn't get to see them while we were rolling through with the slides. So I want to make sure we didn't miss anything before we wrap up here. But Awesome. I'm glad you got to spend your lunchtime with us and got to see all of these. Who was surveyed other than 40 of the US states? So who was surveyed? So it was the Gen Z, young millennials and older millennials. That was the demographics that was surveyed. So this growth applied to the US. Yeah, so this was actually projected growth for the US, correct, Brittany?
Yeah, the US and global. They kind of put it all in together.
Awesome. Perfect. I always tell people I can work with any budget and show them how to save money since some items could replace many. Absolutely, right? You're making all your own products. And if you guys just saw the recent inventory sheet that we just released at the doPLANNER, you will actually be able to see the price per drop for every single product that we have, and what it costs to make your own. So you could literally make your own DIY spray bottle and compare it to, this is $9 at Walmart for a bottle of this, and I just made my own DIY bathroom spray, and this cost $2.06. And you would know that because you could use your price per drop sheet that's on the My Oil inventory sheet that we just launched on Friday through the doPLANNER. So, you could do these comparisons and show people that you're not actually spending money, you're saving it, you're redirecting your spending. So does anyone have any last minute questions for Brittany? Those of you guys that are on live, I know we have hundreds that catch the replays after for these calls, but for those that are here live, that are spending your lunch hour with us, do you have any questions for Brittany before we sign off today? It's your last chance to get real with our corporate guest. She's in on all the goods. She's right there at head office. I don't know whose office is to the left and the right of you right now, but I'm sure you're just down the hall from marketing and up the hall from Dr. David Hill. So
yes, no, lots of good people. And if you don't have a question right now, if one comes later, reach out to Jen, let her know. And if I don't know the answer, I'll stop by. I'll knock on some people's doors. I'll figure it out for you because I want you to have that information. I want you to feel prepared and educated and ready to go. So good.
So good. Well, Brittany, thank you. I know it is 11:45 there, so you're probably getting hungry, ready for lunchtime. And thank you everybody for being on, for being here, for being part of today's calls. And really, hopefully this deepened your foundation into why doTERRA. Why are you choosing this as a business opportunity? Why now? Why is this so important? And it's helping you to see the actual growth potential that we have as a company, as wellness advocates, right? If you ever had that entrepreneurial spirit and you were going to invest and partner with anything to sell anything, this is it, right? This is it. Talk about security and talk about stability. This is such a beautiful place that we're in. So thank you guys. This has been amazing. Brittany, I love you as always. Thank you for having us. Everybody else, enjoy your day. I will actually give a little bit of a surprise for our August team call, only because I'm super excited for it. So I've also got Team Marie here reminding me of things I'm supposed to talk about at the end. So very quickly, our August team call, to follow in the big shoes to fill on Brittany, I have secured the national network marketing trainer for Tony Robbins to be joining us in August, who is going to be doing a 90-minute call, which is directed for network marketers. So I've actually gone to Las Vegas to the GoPro convention, where Tony Robbins actually spoke at the GoPro convention for master recruiting. I can't remember what it was called anyways, master recruiting. And he loves this business model. He thinks it's absolutely genius. And so his national trainer for network marketers is coming on our team call for August, right? So exciting. So I actually was just talking to him. His name's Stu, great guy. We've been going back and forth. And please mark your doPLANNERs now because you want to be on this call live. So get a babysitter, do whatever you got to do to be on this call live. It is August the 11th. It is a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay, which makes it 5 p.m. on the Pacific Coast, 6 p.m. on Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. It's 90 minutes. Do not miss this. You are going to want to be there, okay? So he is trained by Tony Robbins, and it's going to be an excellent call, and I felt like it was going to be the perfect wrap up to the summer, to getting you guys ready for convention, to get the momentum and the excitement going, moving into our Evolve Connection event, and it'll just be a perfect way to keep your energy high, your mind in the game, ready for the huge big things that you're going to be doing with your businesses. So this is going to be an awesome event, so don't miss that. Also, we have Christmas in July happening right now with the Dough Planner. So if you do not have a copy of your own very own Dough Planner, we have Christmas in July running until July 25th, which is our Christmas day. So you're just going to want to use the promo code Xmas in July on our website to go grab your copy of the Dough Planner, so you have that ready to go, and you can start planning your ranks, planning your days, tracking your success, tracking your progress, all of that beautiful stuff. So perfect for Silver Club. Yes, Silver Club, Diamond Club, like you name it, that is your go-to. It's got your structure bonus worksheet. It's got your plan to ranks. It's got your day by days, all of that good stuff. So you guys are amazing. Love you all. Thank you again, Brittany. And we will see you all for our August team call for our Tony Robbins network marketing style 90-minute jam session, August 11th at 8 p.m. So until then, we'll see you guys later. Have an awesome day. Bye, everybody.